And it feels like I'm on top of the world, top of the world, top of the world, baby. And it feels like I'm on top of the world, top of the world, top of the world, right where I should be.
This is the Hollywood Success Podcast, where we share the strategies and mindset that will help you achieve your biggest dreams in Hollywood. I'm Erica Wernick, Hollywood Success Coach, and I'm a little obsessed with helping you get to the next level in your Hollywood career without ever needing a lucky break. You've got this. Hello, welcome to the Hollywood Success Podcast. I'm your host, Hollywood's leading success coach, Erica Wernick, and this is episode 307. Today's episode is kind of a mishmash. Is that even a word? It is a whole bunch of topics put together, just a lot of things that have been on my mind this week that I thought would be valuable to share with you. So I hope you guys are all hanging in there. We are now like 50 days into quarantine, I believe. So yeah, it's been interesting. It's been really interesting. I hope that you are staying safe and healthy and that you are getting through this. I'm really thinking about everyone who is struggling and can't wait till this shit is all over, man. In the meantime, I have had a really interesting week. I was able to get some fresh air and be outside last Friday in a way that I haven't done in maybe a month. And it literally gave me energy for the entire week. And this past week, it actually worked like normal. Like I woke up early in the morning and I worked almost all day and I was super productive. I even sold a really great training that became the most popular training I've ever sold in my 5 years of coaching or 4 years of coaching. It was just a really great week. And it was so crazy how it all stemmed from getting outside and refreshing my energy and feeling grounded and being in nature. So this week looked really different because, to be honest, before this week, I basically haven't worked for a month. I mean, I've done some live videos and I've done some communicating through social media and stuff like that, sharing content. But for the most part, I haven't worked the way that I used to work before quarantine because I always work from home. So the working from home part didn't change anything for me, but I just was not feeling good. I wasn't feeling up to it for the last month. And so it felt amazing to feel like I got this moment of refreshment. Okay, so during this quarantine, my brain has really been mush. I need to start reading some books. I need to start challenging my brain because my vocabulary and like words are slipping and I can't think of words and it's really not great. So forgive me if I'm saying words that don't exist. Anyway, I feel really refreshed this week, and so I'm excited to bring you another podcast episode. I also have some potential guests lined up in the future that I'm waiting to hear back from that I'm super excited about, so stay tuned for that. I've been doing some Instagram lives where either I'm interviewing someone or someone's interviewing me, and it's so much fun, and I just think there's so much energy in an interview episode, maybe more so than these episodes I do by myself. So I would like to bring some more interviews to the podcast and dive into more topics that are interesting and helpful for you about your dreams and your career. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so today I wanted to talk to you about a couple topics that are kind of intertwined together about what I've been thinking about in terms of careers and dreams in Hollywood and beyond. I feel like I've said this on a couple podcasts now. I've been very drawn to Gary Vaynerchuk's content lately, and it's really interesting. I think that we are drawn to what we need in the moment. You know, I've been following Gary for many, many years, and there were times where I wasn't super drawn to his content. You know, it's very hard and in your face and masculine. And there have been times where I'm like, no, I need more content on manifesting and law of attraction and feminine and all of that. And so I kind of go back and forth. I feel like my work is a combination of both. Like I'm not 100% just teaching the feminine with manifesting and law of attraction and things to be softer and easier. I do some of that and then I combine it with the masculine of like, but I still want to get shit done. So it makes sense that I would go back and forth. Sorry, my chair is so squeaky. That I would go back and forth with, the content that I personally am drawn to. But lately, it's interesting that I've been drawn to Gary Vee's content, and maybe because I had a month of not really getting shit done, and he's very get shit done. So one of the things that I've been taking lately from his content that I noticed that I think he does really well is that he never plays the victim in his hardships, in his challenges. And I think that, hearing the way that he speaks, like if he messes up or if he makes a mistake or if things are hard, in his business or he has a loss in something. I can't even think of a specific example off the top of my head. Sorry, again, my brain is so mush right now. But he never plays that victim card. Like he takes responsibility and he keeps going. And I think he also, it's the opposite of the law of attraction type of language, but he's like, eat shit. Eat ramen noodles for a year or 10 years, he's always talking about live the hustle struggle life when you're young and do it. And that's what it takes. And I've just been thinking of that in terms of my career, in terms of Hollywood, in terms of your dreams. Again, I'm always trying to find the balance, I think, between the two, but I find myself, and I've really been trying to figure out why. I've been finding myself play the victim, and I see my clients sometimes slipping into this too. I think especially in Hollywood where it feels like things aren't happening for you the way that you want them to, either, yet, or if it's been a long time, if it's been several years and you're still not where you want to be. I think that it's easy for us to slip into that victim mindset, that woe is me, oh my gosh, my life is so horrible, why is this not happening for me? And like I said, I'm not trying to shame anybody. I've been there. I've noticed that I've done this, and I think that's why, again, I'm attracted to his content right now, because it's like I'm attracted to what I need to hear. And so, because as much as all of this work that I do for myself, I'm human, I've slipped into that victim mode for sure. And even with this book a little bit. And I really want to stop that, because two things, okay? First of all, number one is taking responsibility for choosing to be here. So for all of us who are choosing to pursue a dream that has a lot of challenges, or choosing to be in Hollywood, you're choosing to be here. And you have to take responsibility for that. So if things are hard and you're complaining, you can move back home. You can go get a 9-to-5 job or work for your family business, or, you could go do anything else. You don't have to be here. You don't have to be doing this. And again, this is for myself as well. It's like, Erica, you don't have to write a book. You don't have to try to get an agent. You don't have to try to get a book deal, So on the days where it feels hard and we start to slip into that victim mode, I think number one is we have to take responsibility and say, well, I'm choosing this. I'm choosing to be here. And if I don't want to be here, I don't have to be here. So I think to stop complaining about the things that we are creating and that we are choosing, right? It's like we can't, not that we can't complain, but we shouldn't be complaining about a situation that we are literally choosing to be in. Now, you could be like, well, Erica, I'm not choosing for it to take this long, or I'm not choosing to get rejected so many times or whatever. It's like, no, but you have to know that part of pursuing a big dream is a long journey. And I think that's the other part of this. Like the second part of this for me is like, as much as I say I don't use the word hard in Hollywood Success Coach, and because of the languaging and what it does to your mindset, I still believe that you need to have patience and that there will be lots and lots of challenges and obstacles. I think that, it's hard. It's like, the woo side is like, oh, no obstacles, everything's easy, blah, blah, blah. I think that there are going to be obstacles. I think the journey is going to be long. I don't think that anything happens overnight. And so again, it's like we're choosing to be here and we're choosing to be in an industry or in a dream. I think any big dream takes time, regardless of working in Hollywood, regardless of your industry. Achieving a big dream takes time. It just takes time. And you might be rejected a million times. I mean, if you look at so many of the super successful, famous people that we have in our history, they all have a string of famous failures attached to their story. So I think that it's going to be beneficial for all of us if we can get out of playing the victim. And, also that whole woe is me attitude of like, oh, this is so hard. Oh, this isn't fair, blah, blah, blah. That is not productive energy. Like, what is going to come from that? Nothing good is going to come from that energy. So I just think it's going to be beneficial for all of us if we can really shift out of that victim mentality of this is so hard. Why isn't this happening for me? Oh my gosh, I've been rejected again. We've got to stop playing the victim. I think that, again, we're taking responsibility, we're choosing to be here, and understanding that challenges are par for the course. Par for the course. Like, yeah, of course it's challenging. Of course you're getting rejected a whole bunch of times. Of course there's obstacles. This is a big freaking dream that you're trying to achieve. So, and every time I say anything like this, it's a message for myself as well. I always have this outer body experience where I know that I'm supposed to be hearing what I'm saying. So I'm going to work on this for myself. Like, this is really something that I want to get better at. I really want to stop playing the victim in my business, in my dreams, in my working on getting a book deal. I want to stop because I'm choosing this. I'm choosing this dream. I'm choosing to be here. And it's par for the course that there are going to be obstacles. It just is. So stop whining and put on your big girl pants. You can do this. And so that's just something that I really have been thinking about as I've been listening to Gary Vee's content over the past week and thinking about, wow, this is a big part of the journey. And I've also been thinking, okay, about, someone like Gary versus people in Hollywood who are artists and who are creatives. I think that the reason why we slip into the victim mode is because we feel things, and we feel sad when we're not creating. We feel unfulfilled when we're not creating. Oh man, I had this great Instagram Live conversation with Wendy Braun. I should really get her on the podcast yesterday, and we were talking about the idea that the journey is really everything, and the destinations that we want to arrive at are so short-lived because, shortly after you arrive at a destination that you desire, a new desire is born. So you finally arrive at a destination, you finally achieve a goal, and shortly after that, there's a new goal that you want to achieve. And so you're only living in that, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, I achieved this goal. You're only living in that energy for a short amount of time. It's so short-lived compared to the journey. It's like the journey is super long, and then we have this fulfillment from achieving a goal for a short time. And so this is a bit of a tangent, and I completely forget. Oh, right, I'm talking about feeling things. If we can start to feel good in the journey. And I know this is so cliche. It's so cliche that it's like you want to bang me on the head. Like, Erica, stop this stupid talk of enjoy the journey. Oh my gosh, what are you, a bumper sticker? But I think it's a cliche for a reason. We spend most of our lives on the journey. And so how can we, because, okay, my brain is jumping from topic to topic. Playing the victim is because we are focused on what we don't have. And if we're focused on what we don't have, then we're not enjoying the present moment. We're not enjoying the journey. And if you can learn to be happy now, and I think that it can be a moment-to-moment situation, like, oh, I'm recording my podcast right now. I'm pretty happy. I'm having fun. I like talking to you guys. I like doing this. So right now, in this very moment, I can say that I'm happy. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I don't have that I want, like my house that I always say is in the Hollywood Hills, but now I feel like it's in Malibu or Palisades. I've really been shifting my dream, which is interesting. But, I think especially in quarantine where we're stuck in our homes, and I've been really upset that I'm not in the home that I want to be in. So in this moment, while I'm recording this podcast, I could say that I'm having fun recording this podcast and I'm happy. Or I could say, I'm recording this podcast and yeah, it's fun, but I wish I was recording it in my beautiful house in the Pacific Palisades. And so then the present moment is stolen from me. Happiness in the present moment is stolen from me because I'm choosing to focus on something that I don't have. But really, I'm just sitting at my desk recording a podcast. I don't need to be aware of the fact that I'm not in my dream house because I can be happy right now recording. I mean, right now as I record this podcast, I'm sitting at my desk, I'm sitting on a chair, and I'm just looking at my computer desktop. I'm not even looking at my surroundings. I'm not even aware of my surroundings. I could be in a different house for all I know. So if we can learn to focus on ways in which we can be happy now and recognize too that I think that we have so many more opportunities to be happy now than we realize. And quarantine aside, but just in real life, it's like if you are laughing with a friend, in that moment, you are happy. It doesn't matter if you're a series regular or if you're directing a studio movie or if you have $1 million. In that moment, none of that matters. You're happy in that moment, laughing with your friend. I mean, I get really sucked into TV shows right now. And in the moment when I'm watching a show that I really like, I'm really happy. And I'm like pretending that they're my friends, the characters. I'm like so in it. Or when you're exercising and you're feeling really good about your body. I just think that there are so many moments that we have throughout our days in which we could be happy if we stopped focusing on what we don't have. And it's not about like stop striving and stop setting goals for yourself and stop having the desire for those things. Still have those things. Still focus on those goals. I think we're human. We need to grow. We need goals. We need to continue moving. We need to continue growing. But find ways to be happy now so that the whole journey on the way to the goal doesn't suck. Because if it sucks the whole time and it takes 2 years to achieve a goal, and then you get to the goal and it's really great for like 3 months, and then after that 3 months, now you have a dream for another goal, and then you're going to spend another 2 years on a journey. I mean, if you look at the timelines, so I think that is another way in which we can stop playing the victim and stop focusing on what we don't have. And then, as far as law of attraction goes, the more we focus on feeling good, the more good things will come. And it's really that simple. So that's something that I am working on. And then speaking of, things in this industry taking time and needing patience to really grow a career. One thing that my ego loves to say right now is the word decade in terms of my career. So I know that my ego, and you've probably heard me say it a lot, that I have worked in Hollywood for over a decade. That feels really good to me to be able to say. My ego loves it because it feels like a worthwhile accomplishment. And again, oh man, it's like it's all about that validation. It's like, well, does it feel worthwhile to me, or does it feel worthwhile to say out loud so somebody else thinks it's worthwhile? Man, there's so many side conversations we could have right now. But a decade is 10 years, okay? And I've been in Hollywood for 12 years. So to have the career that I've had, like, it took 10 years. It took time to build all of this. It took 10 years to have this many television shows under my belt. And so I think that just understanding that it takes time and to have patience. And something that I had posted on Instagram like 2 days ago, and it's one of my most liked posts now. Like, it got not the most shared, although it has been shared a ton, but one of my most liked posts right now. I posted a screenshot of an actress who is the star of the new Mindy Kaling show, Never Have I Ever. And if you haven't checked out the show on Netflix, I believe it's #1 on Netflix right now. Go check it out. It's a really cute, really great show about an Indian girl and an Indian growing up in an Indian family. And it's created by Mindy Kaling and Louis Lang, I believe. The girl who they cast as the leading actress has 0 credits. 0 credits before this show. And so I posted a screenshot of it and I wrote 0 credits to series regular. This is proof that there are no rules. And I want to talk about this in relation to this patience thing, because I think that one reason why people loved me writing that is because it feels like overnight success and it feels like there's no work involved. And so people feel like, oh, it's like a get rich quick scheme. And so they're really attracted to that. Right? Like, I could be series regular tomorrow. And you could be series regular tomorrow. It's 100% possible. The reason why I posted it was to show that there are no rules. You know, when you're told, you know, when an actor is told you need a certain amount of co-star credits before you can get a guest star. You need a certain amount of guest star credits before you get to series regular. Those rules aren't real rules because there's always an exception. And this actress is an exception. And so I posted it to show that there is an exception to every rule. And so you just shouldn't buy into every rule, all these rules, because anything is possible. Miracles happen. Exceptions happen. You just because it's more common to have a whole bunch of co-star and guest star credits before series regular doesn't mean that that has to be true for you. But I also want to note, though, that I wasn't showing it because of a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not showing it to you so that you think, oh yeah, I can get rich overnight, or I can, be a star overnight. I can book something like that overnight. I think that there's still work involved, regardless of the timing of things. And so it's understanding, that your dream might take time. But believe in miracles, believe in exceptions, believe that you can be the exception. Your path can look however you want it to look. But even booking a series regular from 0 credits, you still had a life and a journey before that. There were still things that led to you in that moment getting that series regular. So I just wanted to clarify that because I don't want you to think that I'm showing you that success happens overnight. I don't think success happens overnight at all. And the more patient we can be, the better for all of us. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about, I have in my notes about making the ask. I think that, I don't know what I was going to say about making the ask. But I think in terms of, if I could guess what I meant to say from my notes, I think that if you're not playing the victim, you're taking responsibility, you're understanding that a dream is going to have obstacles, it's going to have challenges, it might take longer than you hoped. If you can understand all of that, then you can start making the ask more, because you don't have so much fear and like the white knuckle approach to it, you know? So making the ask is asking for what you want. I don't even know what I have this in my notes. I'm just rambling now to try to cover something in my notes, but I don't really know what I was going to say about that. Make the ask, okay? Make the ask, make the ask. Ask for what you want over and over and over until someone says yes. I love when people are like, Erica, how many agents should I email? I'm like, I don't know, until one says yes. Don't stop until someone says yes. And I think it's the same thing for getting a project off the ground or pitching something or whatever it is your dream is. Keep asking until you get your yes. Okay, so enough of that. So another thing I wanted to share with you, really interesting, since I started with the Gary Vee and the masculine and the getting shit done, I also wanted to share some softer manifesting, law of attraction stuff that's been happening for me that's been really exciting. So I have set some intentions, I think especially during this quarantine, although not even just during this quarantine, because I've been working on it since February, I believe. So part of me trying to get a book deal is growing my audience. The bigger the audience I have, the more desirable I am as an author to an agent and a publicist, because that could potentially mean more book sales. So I've really been focusing on growing my audience, especially on Instagram and just really in general too. But I've been focusing on Instagram. And I set that intention. And I've been trying different things, although I've been sucked into the Gary Vee stuff. And really the biggest thing I've been trying is just sharing valuable content. Because, you know, I'm using hashtags and stuff, but I think when it comes down to it, like that's what I want to do. You know, it's really interesting. And I think this is just a side note, but it's a good thing for you to hear. As I've been trying to grow my Instagram and share valuable content, I find myself looking at other people's accounts and seeing what kind of content they're sharing and how they're sharing it and what kind of posts they're doing and how they're designing it. And I get really caught up in that. And, you know, Gary would say, like, fuck that. Who cares how any single other person is doing it? Just do what you want to share. Share what you want to share. You know, like I find myself like, oh man, I need to find a really powerful Abraham Hicks quote, or I need to find a really great quote that's just going to resonate with everybody. And I have to stop myself and go, I mean, sometimes I do share quotes that I come across that I really love, but I have to stop myself and go, Erica, stop it. You don't need to share somebody else's words. You don't need to be looking at how other people are doing it. Find your own way. And I think that's a little side note, but I think it's good for everybody. I think especially in Hollywood, your goals and your dreams tend to be based off of how other people are living their lives that you see, like other actors, writers, directors, show creators, whatever. And you feel envious of other people, and then you want to start emulating them. And it's good to see somebody's success as like oh, I didn't know that was possible. Oh, cool. Oh, that's my heart like feels connected to that. I feel like that's something I want. And that's really cool. That's really great. But find your own way to do it. You know, I'm really big on this, like, don't try to be the next Shonda Rhimes. Be the next you. Don't try to be the next Steven Spielberg. Be the next you. Like, you know, just like Shonda Rhimes is her own, is like the birth of her own thing. Like, you be the birth of your own thing. And so that's what I've been also trying to do on Instagram is I just need to stop looking at what everybody else is doing, and I just need to share from my heart and from my mind and what I think will help you and be valuable. So that's something that I've been working on. And actually, I have a whole I'm all about the Google Drive, and I've got a folder for Q1, and now we're into Q2, but I have folders for everything that was like a part of my goal. So with the book deal, it's like trying to get press, trying to grow my audience, agent submissions, a spreadsheet of publishers that I like. And, you know, really like all of my work is going just into those main points. And so I have been setting the intention to grow my audience since February because I created that folder. I have audience growth folder in my Google Drive, and I'm wanting to do it through Instagram and also through speaking, and I wanted to be speaking more. And so I invested in a speaking course a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago. I can't even remember when now. I invested in a speaker course, which has been really great. And I actually called my art school, Tyler, where I graduated, the design school. And I was like, hey, I have a pretty good relationship with them. And I was like, hey, would you be open to me like practicing my new keynote speech for your students now that I'm in this course and I'm learning how to craft a real keynote? And they were like, yeah, we would love that. And so I was supposed to go right before this pandemic broke out. And I was supposed to fly in and do this talk. And I was so excited. I had to cancel my flight. We had to cancel everything. And so anyway, in the past 2 weeks, I have had some opportunities fall into my lap that I didn't physically seek out really much more than setting the intention and posting content on social media. Because I think when I post content on social media, if people like it and they see it, it might, if they need a speaker or if they want to share something I'm doing, it might spark that action for them to reach out to me. So in the past few weeks, I've actually manifested some speaking opportunities, which I'm really, really excited about. And I like yesterday, I spoke to a writers group. I also did that Instagram live with Wendy, which was really more me interviewing her, but it was still an amazing opportunity to get in front of her audience and grow my audience that way. Like I've gained like 150 new followers in the past month just from doing these things, which is really cool. And then I did the really great one with Melissa on Rock Your Reel, an Instagram live with her, and we're planning out to do more, and we're in talks to do potentially some more of those. And then I have another one that a friend recommended me for that's coming up in 2 weeks for a virtual thing through our alumni. I don't really know what I'm allowed to share about it. I'm not sharing too many details, but essentially it's one of the biggest audiences I've ever spoken to before, ever. So it's a really incredible opportunity. And it's just been really awesome to see these manifestations come into my life. These opportunities come into my life that, I didn't ask Melissa to be on her Rock Your Reel. I personally did ask Wendy to come on mine, but I didn't ask for this alumni thing. I didn't ask to go speak to the writers group. Like they all approached me. And I'm not trying to say it in an arrogant way. I'm trying to explain how manifestation can fall into your lap. And so just setting the intention and letting go, when I set the intention to speak more and to grow my audience, I just let it go. Like I wasn't like super, I think with the Instagram thing, I was probably a little more white knuckled about it than the speaking, although not really that hardcore. So all of this to say is, I think that we can combine the masculine, I want to get shit done. To me, they work together always. And so, I listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks. And one of the common questions that people have is, okay, so you say to just like have fun and basically not take action. Can you explain that more? And she's like, well, I'm not telling you not to take action. I'm telling you to only take the action you feel inspired to take. And so I think there's that misconception, especially if you've seen The Secret, which The Secret is essentially based off of the work of Abraham Hicks, of Esther and Jerry Hicks. But there's like this, there's this misunderstanding that I just need to visualize it and it'll come. And I think that there's inspired action that leads the manifestation to coming. So, for example, me feeling inspired to put out more video content. I've been putting out more video content on Instagram. And so that gives people a new opportunity to hear me speak and to hear what I have to say. And I don't know if Melissa saw those. I should ask her, but perhaps that inspired action that I took led her to reach out to me to do a live with her. And I saw that she was doing lives with other people, and I actually had a thought in my head of like, oh, I want to do one. I want to do one with her. And I just never said it out loud, though. I never said it to her. And then when I saw the ones that she was doing, I was like, oh, I should reach out to some people and do some. And then I reached out to Wendy. And so again, it was like with Wendy, it was like I had the inspired idea based on something that I saw. And so I felt inspired to take action. And so I think that is how for me, that's like how the masculine and the feminine work together. Or I shouldn't even necessarily say that, but the law of attraction and the manifesting combined with like that masculine energy of getting shit done, to me, they work together by allowing yourself to feel inspired to take action. And then when you're taking that action, you're in a very like, let's get shit done mode because you feel excited, because you feel inspired to take that action. I hope this is making sense. I feel like I'm a little all over the place today. But I think that all of the opportunities that I've manifested have come out of the inspired actions that I have taken. So, and to me, this is inspired strategy. This was the thing that I taught at Warner Brothers last year, which to me is like the foundation for like how all strategy should be made. Everything I do now is 100% inspired. Wendy and I were talking about the should list, oh, I should do this, I should do that. I don't really operate from that way anymore. Like, oh, I should take this action or I should do that. I mean, I have those thoughts, but really the actions that I take are ones that I feel inspired to take. Like it's like a divinely guided idea sent to me, or it's something that I feel sparked from a conversation, something that I feel like, ooh, I want to do that. I feel inspired. Oh, that sounds like a good action for me to take. Yeah, I want to take that. Oh, I'm going to go do that. So it's never coming from a place of like, oh, I guess I should do that. I have to do that. It's coming from a excited, inspired place. And so for me, that's how those two things work together. And I think like, with Gary Vee's energy of it being so masculine and so like getting shit done all the time, like that's his happy place. He clearly finds a lot of joy there. And I think he feels inspired all the freaking time. He feels inspired to take certain actions, and he feels excited to take certain actions, potentially at a higher frequency than some of us. So, that's what I wanted to share, So it's interesting. I also had two private messages come in from people in my life, in my past life, essentially, related to the things that I had manifested. And it's just so interesting how law of attraction works and the energy in the universe works. Like someone I haven't heard from in like 18 years reached out to me and said something in a message. And then like one of my mentors just messaged me today in response to a message I sent him January of last year, because he doesn't really use Facebook. And he said that he didn't even realize he had all these messages, and he's like, it's taking him weeks to go through all of his messages and respond to everyone. And it was just a really sweet message, but it was so interesting because, he said, oh, congratulations on all of your success, because the previous message I had sent him last year was about one of my first, I think, Hollywood Success Lives. I think it was my first like big Hollywood Success Live event. And I was like, oh, I just want to tell you, it's my first like big event, and I'm doing everything that you taught me. And I just wanted to share that and say thank you. And he didn't respond until today. And it's just interesting with the timing of him saying like, "Oh, congratulations, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on, this like in the week that I'm getting all of these speaking gigs and now that I'm like working on getting this book deal." It's just the timing is just so interesting, when these messages come in. So yeah, it's really, really fascinating. I also had, I don't want to explain too many details because that's not the point of this, but I had a conversation with someone where they didn't really believe in me as a speaker, or my accomplishments weren't really worthy enough to them. And to have that, like, they didn't think I was like worthy enough to come speak to their small group, essentially. And then to, in the same week after that, find out that I was invited to speak to one of the largest audiences I maybe have ever spoken to. It's just so interesting how the universe works. Like, it just, none of it feels like a coincidence to me at all. And I think that this is a total tangent, but when things come up that trigger you, all we can do is do the work. And so I've been working on that and, asking like, well, what's the trigger there? What do you feel insecure about? And having to do that work and really work through that. And then to get this like even bigger opportunity after that is amazing. It's amazing. It's like, wow. Just kind of crazy how it all works. Anyway, this was a completely mishmash episode. I'm saying that word again. I don't know if it's a real word. Smorgasbord. Anyway, I hope this information was helpful for you in some way. I think that's really all I have. Let me know if this was helpful at all. Yeah, my brain's kind of mush, but I had these ideas in the shower and I was like, I need to do a podcast about this. I need to share this. I think especially about playing the victim and the 0 to series regular thing. Like, I want you to hear all of this and, what I'm working through too. Everything that I share with you is stuff that I do for myself. So anything that I teach, I'm teaching what I do. I'm walking my talk. And I just want to share things that help me succeed and have helped me do well, because I'm hoping that maybe if it resonates with you, it'll help you do well too. So yeah, I think especially with this publishing deal, I have to prove that my methods work once again. I have to use my own methods that are in this book to try to get a publishing deal. And so, man, like there's a lot to unpack there, right? I mean, I believe in what I do so deeply, but then I have to do the work of like, okay, do you have any doubts? Do you have any insecurities? Like, oh my gosh, what if I don't get a publishing deal? Then it's going to mean that like I'm a sham, or all of my methods don't really work, or, I'm not good enough, or, whatever it means. Like, I have to do the work and look at what are the insecurities there? What are the doubts? What are the fears? I have to do that work the same way I would tell you to do that work. Yesterday when I was speaking to this really great writers group, they were asking, how do you deal with the fears and the doubts that come up? And I told them it's like, about recognizing what they are, calling them out what they are, and then changing the story and turning them into affirmations. And this is the work that I do. This is what I do when the fears come up. And this is what I tell my clients to do when the fears come up. So all of this that I'm sharing is work that I'm doing for myself as well. Anyway, that's about all I've got. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. If you're not following me on Instagram, please come follow me. At Instagram, oh my gosh, I was going to tell you that my name was like at Instagram. Wow, guys, I need to get my brain back. Follow me at Hollywood Success Coach. That is my Instagram name. And I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.
And it feels like I'm on top of the world. Top, top of the world. Top, top of the world, baby. And it feels like I'm on top of the world. Top, top of the world. Top, top of the world. Right where I should be. Yep.